Here's your First Warn Weather forecast first, sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
Well, I hope you had a wonderful Saturday. It's been a gorgeous afternoon, and that carries over here into late this evening. Temperatures today, while they did fall below average, kind of holding on to that stretch from the last few days. It was a pretty nice one, especially once we were able to see some sunshine. We made it up to 74 today in Rockford, 78 in Sterling, a little warmer out to the west. Not dealing so much with that cooler breeze and that lake breeze coming in from the east. We will continue to see our skies clear out here as we go through the night. Temperatures for us will drop down into the low 50s. We've got some sunshine to start us off. We might see a little patchy ground fog early tomorrow, but tomorrow less cloud cover, more sunshine and warmer temperatures too. That carries over into Labor Day, but we've got some big changes, at least in the short term, as we enter into the month of September. A look at some of that chill setting in. Coming up in the First Warn forecast a little later.
South Beloit's struggle to staff emergency services may continue, while the town of Beloit is seeking to stop staffing the city's fire department. Plus, helping a 9-year-old boy stand tall. How the community came together to help Tatum stand. And a Rockford sports complex's new renovations are unveiled. A look at the Phase 1 improvements to the Clarence Hicks sports complex.
From Fox 39, this is Eyewitness News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Blake Dietz. Thanks for joining us this evening. We'll get to those stories in a moment. First tonight, a Wisconsin woman is identified as the victim of a possible hit and run in Daviess County. This happened on Route 78 just outside Warren after 9 p.m. Thursday. According to officials, Daviess Sheriff's deputies responded to the area Friday morning for reports of a person laying unresponsive in a nearby ditch. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene and later identified as 37-year-old Nicole Burke of South Wayne, Wisconsin. Investigators believe Burke was struck by a vehicle while walking northwest on Route 78. The vehicle that struck Burke then left the scene without reporting the accident. The sheriff's office is asking the public for assistance in this investigation. Anyone who has information is encouraged to contact the office directly or submit a tip through the county website. Town of Beloit officials are looking to end an emergency services agreement with South Beloit. The agreement, approved in May of 2024, stipulated that the town of Beloit would provide firefighting and emergency medical service staff to South Beloit. The town began staffing South Beloit in October last year. This week, the town's administrator and fire chief sent a memorandum advising to terminate the agreement. According to the memorandum, the town of Beloit was unable to secure a grant to pay for the cost of 9 new firefighters, and quote, while the town of Beloit has had success in hiring additional staff, it is not to the staffing level needed to sustain supporting the South Beloit contract, end quote. In a statement, South Beloit officials said that they will be discussing the next steps to address future staffing at upcoming city council meetings. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and a local nonprofit is kicking it off by putting the fun in fundraiser. The Warrior Foundation hosts a 24-hour fundraising event each Labor Day weekend. Highlights include a 5K run, team fitness challenges, and a kids' fun fair. Lawn games, a bouncy house, and face painting were all available at Peak Sports Club in Loves Park for a $10 donation. All proceeds go to the Warrior Foundation, which raises awareness and provides financial support to families fighting childhood cancer. One of the foundation's coordinators says it's just about letting kids be kids, no matter what they're facing.
It's about kids, so why not make something about kids and bring them into it and let them come out and just have some fun. Our hope is to start getting families to sponsor, so when those kiddos are just feeling a little bit better, they can come out and just have a day of fun and just be a kid. So, yeah.
The foundation hopes to expand to supporting children battling other serious diseases beyond cancer in the near future. Another fundraiser was held in the state line, this one supporting a child battling numerous health problems. The Help Tatum Stand Tall benefit and ride kicked off this morning at Easy Tiger in Loves Park. There was also a 50-50 and basket raffles. All proceeds from the event go to support 9-year-old Tatum Eddy. Tatum suffered a stroke before being born and now lives with several health conditions, including cerebral palsy. His father says it's been a long journey with, of course, many medical appointments, but days like today are memories Tatum will never forget.
Art and everything is God's greatest gift for him. It's amazing. it's important to him because then he knows how everybody, like I said, he's a little superhero. Last time I said anything about him, but yeah, he's great.
If you want to support Tatum and his family, a GoFundMe has been set up to help cover medical costs. A link to that can be found in this story on our website, mystateline.com. A Rockford Sports Complex's renovations were officially unveiled today. The Clarence Hicks Sports Complex's grand opening was held tonight. The $7.5 million Phase 1 improvements to the complex were shown to the public for the first time. Community feedback in 2018 spurred a recommendation to increase investments in the sports complex. Phase 1 improvements include an artificial turf, field and stadium with an 8-lane running track, a throw and jump event, and expanded seating. The Chicago Bears also donated turf from Hallis Hall to create a warm-up center. The complex's general manager says improvements will be a huge asset to the city.
It's been a long time in the making. We've put a lot of investment into this park. It's going to be the gym of the south side of Rockford. We're going to house a lot of our youth sports programs over here, our football programs, track and field programs, cheerleading. We're going to be bringing in major tournaments as well, but most importantly, this is for the community of the south side and the entire region in Rockford.
Now, the total cost of the first phase, again, was just over $7.5 million. Israel declared Gaza's largest city a combat zone as Israeli forces launched the start of a planned offensive in Gaza City. Coming up, the latest from the Gaza Strip as the Israel-Hamas war continues on.
It took a little while to see some sunshine this afternoon, but we were able to warm those temperatures into the low to mid-70s. Still a bit on the cooler side, but we've got a warming trend through the holiday itself. But then numbers take a big tumble. Find out if we come close to any records. Coming up in the First Warn forecast a little later.
Israel has declared Gaza's largest city a combat zone and has recovered the remains of 2 hostages as Israeli forces launched the start of a planned offensive that has drawn international condemnation. Israel has called Gaza City a Hamas stronghold, alleging the terror organization's network of tunnels remains in use by Hamas after several previous large-scale raids on the area. Here's the latest in Gaza City.
Israel declaring Gaza City a combat zone, marking the start of its expanded military operation. Several explosions were seen across the Gaza Strip early Saturday as Israel continued its offensive. Israel says it has called up 60,000 reservists for the operation that could last for some time. Prime Minister Netanyahu claims the military action in Gaza City is necessary to defeat Hamas and also secure the release of the remaining hostages. On Friday, Israel recovered the bodies of 2 hostages, one of them Ilan Weiss, who was killed during the October 7th Hamas attack, his body taken to Gaza. His wife and daughter kidnapped that day, but released during the first ceasefire in November of 2023. Some relatives of the remaining hostages unhappy with this latest military operation.
But bringing them back in black body bags through military rescue operations, it's not the way. Such operations endanger both our soldiers and our hostages. The only path that has never been tried is a comprehensive, viable deal and the end of the war.
Israeli officials say they're committed to returning every single hostage, both the living and the dead. International aid organizations and others have warned that this latest military operation will make the humanitarian situation in Gaza even worse. Dozens of Palestinians lining up to get cooked rice from a charity kitchen in Deir al-Balah. It is a famine, this man says. There's no food, and even water is not available. When it is available, it's not safe to drink. According to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry, more than 63,000 Palestinians have been killed since the war began, adding that more than 300 people have died from malnutrition-related causes during that time, and at least 120 of them are children. Israel disputes those figures, but has not provided numbers of its own.
Well, some great weather has this Labor Day weekend off to a fantastic start, but will that continue through the holiday? Coming up after the break, Chief Meteorologist Candace King will break down the Labor Day forecast and if we could see some rain next week. Her forecast in just a few minutes.
Now, your First Warn weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
The know, it was a pretty decent day. We started off with plenty of cloud cover this morning. The sun was able to make an appearance here throughout the afternoon, just enough to warm our temperatures for a lot of us into the low to mid 70s, upper 70s a little further to the west, and then you've got the 80s back further to the west where a little more sunshine and some warmer air has been moving in over the last few hours. We've had a decent lake breeze kind of push further inland, which has cooled our temperatures a bit as those numbers continue to drop through the 60s here this evening. We've got some changes coming up, however. We've got a slow warming trend that'll take us not only through Sunday, Monday, but also into Tuesday as temperatures could warm up close to that 80-degree mark. But there's going to be a big cool down coming up with a strong cold front, a fall cold front coming in Wednesday and Wednesday night. That'll actually bring us a chilly rain during the afternoon and evening on Wednesday. And then a quick shot of cold where record not only low temperatures, but cold high temperatures will be possible as that colder air is quick to rush in, but it's also quick to move. So that is some good news. If you've got plans here for the rest of the weekend, no issues out there. We've got mostly clear skies. High pressure remains in control, and that really doesn't move from the Great Lakes. So that keeps us with that drier air, keeps that moisture back out to the west. You may run into some patchy fog early tomorrow morning. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, and whatever does develop should not last. Our winds will stay light from the east and northeast. So to the east, we'll likely see a lake breeze develop, which may give a little bit of cooling, especially late into the afternoon and then through the evening. But all that moisture is staying out to the west, which means we should see a little less in the way of cloud cover for both Sunday and Monday. So you've got plans to go out Sunday. Maybe you're traveling Sunday, Monday. No issues weather-wise as high pressure continues to remain in control. Eventually, that high will sink down to the southeast and kind of shift that wind around to the south. That bumps our temperature up not only for Monday, but also going into Tuesday as well, where high temperatures could come close to that 80-degree mark. Then as we get into Wednesday morning is going to stay pretty quiet, but a strong cold front comes in during the afternoon. Not only will that increase the wind from the northwest, it'll bring us some rain showers late in the day on Wednesday night, kick up the wind and bring in that cold air heading into Thursday. So 53 degrees, I think that's where we'll head for the overnight. We've got a clearing sky. Again, a little patchy fog will be possible heading into tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're a couple of degrees warmer than where we were today, up to 76 with that partly cloudy sky, and our wind, that'll stay light from the east and northeast. All right, let's talk about this pattern change. When we look at our jet stream winds, we've got this big dip in the jet stream coming in, originating well up to the north. So we've got this blocking pattern that starts to break down. Big ridge of high pressure develops out to the west and helps dislodge some of that cooler air up to the north. And as the old saying goes, what goes up must come down, and it means that colder air spills in. Now, along with this strengthening jet stream, we're also going to have some wind with it too. So our wind will pick up mid to late week. But the thing with this is that it could bring us close to some record cold temperatures here, not only for our low numbers, we'll have to watch those, but our record cold high temperatures, at least for Thursday. So look at this, Thursday 61, that's the record cold high temperature. So the coldest high temperature ever for the 4th of September, that was 61 degrees set back in 1994. Record low is 39 for that night. Going into Friday, record cold high 62 set all the way back in 1905. Our record low is 41, which was 1924. Look at where those temperatures are going to be for Thursday, Friday. Thursday, we could tie it if we get that cold. 61, that's the forecast high for the afternoon. 63 on Friday, but I do think temperatures will slowly begin to average out. We'll see that climb there as we head into next weekend and then getting into that second week, Blake, of September.
Yeah, it's feeling more like October than September. Thanks, Candace. Drew's in next with sports. There was some Nick 10 action today. Stick around for the Hononegah and Auburn clash at the Castle.
Now sports with Drew Collins.
Nick 10's Saturday football action is finally here. Folks, grab your bibs because this game is about to get sloppy. The Auburn Knights welcome in the Hononegah Indians to Wyeth Stadium. Sloppy Saturday morning high school football, well, here it is. The Knights get a safety. That's Nasir Owens bringing down Berg in the end zone. But Hano's offense gets it together. They lean on Yone Timoteo, and that worked. Yone scores 6, and just like a yo-yo coming back at you, Yone scores on the very next drive. After a rough start, Hano led 14-2. Coach, do you like it? He loves it. Hano drives again, Bryceburg slings it to Nolan maybe, and he has the TD. Indians go up 21-2 after that tough first drive. But Auburn's offense woke up. Check out the moves by Gavin Sanders. He puts up the stop sign and then turns back on the Jets. That man is quick. He burns through the defense and scores a very long touchdown. Auburn's O working again. Daniel Ballard rockets it to Sanders, and now he has a receiving touchdown. And just like that, it is now a one-possession game in the third quarter. But after a ton of turnovers and flags, Hano gets on the board late in the fourth to put this one away. Jacob Duvall gets in for 6. Auburn battled, but Hano hangs on to win it 27-15. Over in DeKalb, the NIU Huskies kicked off their season by hosting Holy Cross. The Huskies were held to just 2 field goals by Andrew Glass through the first 3 quarters of this game. Early in the fourth quarter now, Holy Cross quarterback Blake Youngblood finds Cal Swanson in the end zone. That's a 16-yard touchdown. The Huskies were in trouble trailing 10-6. But on the following kickoff, this happened. Redshirt freshman Davion Reynolds fielded the ball at the NIU 4-yard line. He used his quick feet to avoid Holy Cross's attempts to tackling. Then Reynolds had clear sailing. He went 96 yards, putting the Huskies in front 12-10, and that was a much-needed spark. Then with just over 4 minutes to play, NIU running back Javon Wright out of the Wildcat carries and scores from 2 yards out. The Huskies needed that because Holy Cross returned the following kickoff, but the Huskies survived this one, defeating Holy Cross 19-17. And the Redbirds had a tall task in the Sooners. Oklahoma took care of business. They won it 35-3. Oklahoma had 495 total yards compared to Illinois State's 151. And just in case you missed yesterday's game with the Fighting Illini, they opened their season with a boom against WIU. They won it 52-3. Luke Allmeyer played perfect, 17 for 21, 3 tutties. The Fighting Illini will take on an ACC opponent next week. It'll be a great game at Duke against the Blue Devils. Illinois is currently 12th in the entire country. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Well, Drew, football season is here. You just wrapped up week 1 for overtime.
Yep.
And Candace, football season, football weather seems like it's here. And you, like you said, we might have some record cold in. So, tell us, 61 degrees, that's more like mid-October, late October?
Right, yeah. I mean, we've had temperatures that have felt more like September, which, we're getting to the end of August. Monday is September 1st. So we'll kind of be right on par with that. Numbers are going to warm up Monday, Tuesday. It'll be nice. We're back close to 80. But then we've got a big drop in those temperatures too. So you've got some wind.
Yeah.
Numbers will fall back through the 60s for highs, low 60s at that. So a record cold high for Thursday, 61. And I think we might get close to that on Thursday.
Yeah, and so those chilly weather, but it's good for you when you're out there getting the game. So what was your favorite game for week 1?
I mean, last night, I got to say the Guilford game that Scott went to was awesome. But weather-wise, it was pretty chilly. It felt great for a while, and then this morning I shot some more football. The sun was out and it was pretty hot. Got a little sunburn here for just a few hours outside. It was not like that last night.
Well, when you can get some sun, in September, you take
I'm not
that.
Complaining.
August, September, you can't complain. But
and the rain held off, so that was awesome as well.
Absolutely. And so, what are we looking at?
We've got high pressure that stays with us. We'll be pretty quiet out there tonight. Temperatures will drop back through the low 50s. 76 for tomorrow, 79 Monday, Tuesday. But you see that drop in those numbers by the end of the week.
Awesome. Thank you, Candace. Thank you, Drew. And thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your night.